Hey everyone, it's Amador, and welcome to the Mason Jar Love Affair YouTube hop. Now, this is going to be my project. These are these new Mason jars that just came out from Ball, and they are called the Collector's Edition. So they have them in 3 different sizes. They have them in this size, this one, and these are the ones that I showed in my my promotion video. So these are the ones that I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one just because I could put more in that one, and I will show you what I need. Let's put this aside, and I'm going to use this clay. This is a Hardy super lightweight modeling clay. This is an air dry clay. It's super light, and the reason is because the parts that I'm going to make, I'm going to adhere to the jar. So let's get started. Now, starting out with the Hardy clay, you really want to make sure that you only pull out the parts that you need or the amount that you will need, because it is an air dry clay and it is super quick drying. It says to wait about 24 hours, but I live in the desert and it dries super quick outside in the sun. I've used this for most of my projects. It's not that expensive, but it's still not cheap. So make sure you use your coupon. I start with, of course, with any kind of clay project, you want to roll out a ball and then roll it into whatever shape that you want. The feet are just going to be basic little feet. It's basically like a tube with a little part sticking out. And I make sure to press them against the jar right here so it gets the right indentation for where it's going to the jar. So it doesn't matter where you end up placing it though, since the jar is the same circumference throughout the entire thing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start on the arms. I want a little bit more clay for the arms because I want them to have a little bit of a hand and kind of a thumb to look like mittens, basically. They're going to be snowman mittens. And you just want to go ahead, and I just keep taking or adding clay to make sure that I have just about the same amount of clay per item. And again, I'm going to press it down. Now, I decided to go with the arms, one kind of going up and one kind of going down, because I was thinking of maybe putting a wreath, and you'll see the wreath that I end up making in further on in the video. And I just go ahead and mold them. It's a quick easy mold and quick easy shape, excuse me. And I'm not too 100% worried about like creases or anything like that. You don't see me wetting the clay and smoothing it out because it's going to be painted and then on top of that covered with glue and glittered. Now, if you notice, there's two little balls. I tried to make the head out of just clay, but I felt like it just wasn't going to sustain it with the hole inside. So I went ahead and grabbed a styrofoam ball that you get at most of the craft stores. This is, I think, is a 2-inch or 3-inch ball, and I just roll out the clay really about 1/8 of an inch, and then I just start smoothing it over on this styrofoam ball. Of course, this is going to make it lighter if you're going to ship it as a gift or something for someone, and it's much easier to do it this way. And all I'm doing is now just smoothing it over the foam ball. Make sure I'm taking care of looking for air pockets and either pressing them out or just getting rid of them, and making sure that I'm pressing everything down and getting into the bottom. And I like to pat it and smooth it on the table so it actually gets a smoother look to it. As you can see, I just laid it down now so I can get the actual, to make sure that it actually sits on the jar. Now we're going to take some more little pieces of clay and add the eyes and the mouth and the nose. I started with the nose, just a sweet little cone, just put it on the front of it. Now this little mouth, I want it to look like, I was going to do coal, like the little pieces of coal, but then I decided to make it look like a mouth, like the ones from the niche, like the kitsch ones from, not the niche, the kitsch ones from like the 50s and 60s that had like an actual mouth, and you know, with the cheeks and some blush and whatnot. Like I said, just kind of haphazard. I do have some clay sculpting tools, but they're very inexpensive. I think they're by Sculpey, and they're like rubber or silicone, so you're able to just, you know, use them. And now once the smile is done, I go ahead and I do the cheeks. I start with little balls, make them little round balls, and then I smooth them onto the clay to make sure that I have the cheek, and then I just press them down to get them to stay more on the actual head. Now we're going to move on to the eyes. The eyes are a little hard, but I wanted to go ahead and make them oval. And once I have everything smooth, and this is very easy to work with clay, I go ahead and I get my clay tool again, and I go ahead and press where the pupil is going to be, because I'm just going to color them in. Like I said, super easy. And the fact that you're going to cover this with glue and then glitter is very forgiving. The reason, though, I do make the eyes and the mouth very dimensional is because I wanted to make sure they stick out. Here I'm making a little top hat, just easy, making one circle like a little tortilla of clay, and then adding the cylinder, which is a top hat. This is the greenery that I use and the little berries. These are the trees that I'm using. These I got at Joann's last year, so I know they have them every year. Now, these little deer are these German deer. I absolutely love these. I actually was thinking of putting these like little kits in my site in the store to make them for you to make ornaments or whatever, because they're actually imported from this one family that makes them by this one company, so it's super, super gorgeous. They're actual German handmade imports. Now I'm making the base that I'm going to stand the little deer on. The reason why is I want the deer to stand up a little bit more, because we're going to put snow in there, and if you put snow in anything, it's going to cover it. You're just going to see the head. So I add a little bit of E6000 on the little mound of clay that I used with, of course, one leg did have hot glue, because you at least need the hot glue for it to hold in place while the E6000 dries. Here I am just adding the trees, and I don't like that empty space to show underneath the tree, so I always press the base inside into the tree so it goes right from the tree to the ground. And of course I'm using my tweezers to put in the second tree and the third tree, and I use 3 different sizes to set the scene in our little snow globe snowman. I don't even know what to call this, truth be told. It was inspired by these Snowman and Santa boxes that have like arms and legs that were in the Bethany Lowe catalog. If you guys don't know, I love me some Bethany Lowe, and if anyone out there has some Bethany Lowe that they want to find a new home for, let me know. Now, let's go ahead, and it's been sitting outside. Like I said, I live in the desert. I sat this outside for a couple of hours, dried perfectly, and now I'm adding, this is black, tangerine, and I'm adding vintage white, and these are all folk art paints. I recommend folk art paints, period. I don't like using any other ones. They're runny, and I don't like to do 2-3 coats of one color. But I am adding some vintage white to all of these to kind of dull and lighten down the color. The top hat is still a little black, but it's like a rich onyx kind, not just like a rich black, not like just a heavy stark black. And I'm just painting these with random brushes I have in my tools. I just pull them out, and you see them right here, and I let them in this, I put them in the little galvanized tray right there for them to dry. Now for the eyes, I wanted to start with this mint color. I don't even remember the color of it, and I didn't like it. It was too green, and then I went ahead and I just mixed it with a little bit of a light blue, just to give it kind of just like very, like I said, very retro, very kitsch look for them. And I just mix it. Everything is getting reduced and mixed in with that vintage white. Now, you guys know I love me some Annie Sloan chalk paint, and this one is very close to the old white chalk paint. So if you're looking to do a project with that kind of tone and look to it, you can use that one. But here I am, and also you see inside the pupils of the snowman, I just dabbed the black paint inside, and then I put a little bit more white paint to make it look gray. It just felt like it was too dark. Now, if you notice though, I am not being super careful when I'm painting the blue, the carrot, anything, because I still have to paint the entire body covered in that vintage white by folk art. So I can be sloppy with the facial features because I'm going to then cover them and make them more crisp with the vintage white on the base of the vintage white will go on the base of all of the full body. Here I am now, I'm adding, with all of the limbs, I'm going ahead and adding the vintage white just directly on there and covering it all, because even if it's going to be on the inside, I still want it to be the same color. And I start with the limbs just to make sure I get everything going and everything. And I end up finishing with the head, because that one has a little bit more detail than the other ones. But you see here, just quickly, haphazardly, like just roughly painting it over. And if you can see, there's like a creamy tone to the actual vintage white. And now just going on to the Snowman Head and starting out, and then you'll see in a little bit the details, how I'm just basically painting over all of the messy edges or whatnot of the colors that I use, the reddish pink blush color for the lips, and for the mouth and the cheeks and everything. This is where you just make it look finer, make it look more refined, if you will. But anyhow, also, I know I'm just started talking about this project and everything. I just want to thank Tina for inviting me. I really appreciate it. This is totally something I love. This is actually something I've been wanting to do. I've been wondering how this would look. I hope you guys have enjoyed all of the other awesome crafters. I am a massive fan of them. Marilyn G, KraftyPaws, Jill. Hello. I'm in a hop with Jill Norwood. Shut up. Like, shut my face. Seriously. Slap this snowman and shut my face, because I'm a massive fan. Her Christmas, I just watch her. I can admit, Jill, if you're watching, I watch her on occasions. I'll go back and watch your tag videos and just watch them. They're so peaceful and they're so sweet, because I know you make every single tag and every accent with love. With love, love, love. And Marilyn G, you know I adore you. You think you're awesome. I wish I was going to the same Copic class with you. But anyway, totally personal. There's probably too much information out there, and you guys are probably like, what is wrong with you? Anyhow, so let's get back to this. Back to the actual jar, the jar project that I'm sharing with you guys. And again, like I said, check out everybody's channel. Make sure that you're following everybody. They are amazing crafters, and there's much more to come from them. Trust me. Especially with the holiday season. I feel like the holiday season for crafters is the season. Like, people that love sweaters love fall. Like, we love Christmas. Crafters love Christmas. So, anyhow, back to the actual project. Now, here I am. Okay, you guys are not going to believe me. I didn't have Mod Podge for some weird reason. So I had to just pull out some Elmer's glue, throw a little bit of water in it to make it more liquidy, and I'm covering everything. Now, this is the glitter that I used is actually this one. I have the one from Hobby Lobby that comes in the large canister. This one is actually from Michael's. It is in the kids section. The people that turned me on to this was actually, if I'm not mistaken, Elise, Laura from the Robin Laura Hi Ladies, and also Jill Norwood. Like, they got me onto this. You can see the label right there. It's in the kids section. Super affordable, super soft. Works perfectly, trust me. You get a coupon, of course. So here I am. Now we're actually adding all of the items, adding the parts, and I'm going to go ahead and, of course, you want to use E6000, but you have to use a little bit of hot glue to hold it while the E6000 is actually fully on drying. Luckily, again, I live in the desert, so this stuff happens quickly. I leave my projects out there and they're good to go out in the backyard. And I start with the legs, and I start now on on all of the limbs on the upper part, on the upper half that is being connected to the jar. I will add the E6000 and then hot glue on the bottom, because at the end of the day, I want the top of the limb, which is going to be supporting all the weight, to be holding it. I just grab some pieces of aluminum foil to hold this puppy in, to mold around it, and I use a toothpick, of course, with some hot glue and some E6000, half a toothpick in the head so I can hold, because I didn't want to just glue the hat in case it would fall off. So let me know what you guys think. I'm totally loving this. I can't wait for this to be part of our Christmas decor. So please make sure that you guys are following and commenting and liking, subscribing to the channel and everybody else's channel. This was super awesome. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you're following everybody. Tina from Tellhimthanku, Marilyn G, Jill Norwood, V-Ball-in-One, KraftyPaws. They are awesome ladies. Here is the finished product with the little wreath and everything. I'm super excited. Thank you guys again for following along with the hop. This mason jar love affair is for everybody. So go ahead, take a dip, and try something as well. Thank you guys for stopping by. Bye, everyone.